Welcome back to Lower Keys Living, everybody, and to one of my favorite times of year for lobstering. Once mid-October hits all the way through the end of March at the end of lobster season, the crowds are gone and the lobsters are starting to fill back in. Plus, the last 2 weeks we've had some nasty wind. Haven't been able to get on the water in a while to go fishing. Just the winds have been howling. You can see these are screenshots from a couple of days last week, and same forecast from next week with winds, lower 20s to mid to upper 30s every day. So even though the tuna and wahoo are running strong, have not been able to get out fishing. So headed over to this area last night to do some lobstering. You can see the wind direction strong out of the northeast. So I tend to stay close to shore, and these areas are really well protected by the mangroves and homes. So great spots, water stays clear, and again, nice and protected. And you can see the little arrow at the bottom by that island. That's where I'm picking up lobsters, but I also check out that rectangular area cut out. Not sure why that was made, but a good spot that I always do well finding lobster in. This area that I'm at, a little tough to get to because there's no launch spot on Summerlin Key for private boaters unless you're living on there. So it's about a 1.5 mile paddle from Cudjoe Key over for me, but just a beautiful paddle. It was into the wind on my way back, but a nice speedy paddle home going with the wind. Out here, I've shown you this deep debris pile a few times in the past. Stopped here again last night to get some fresh video footage, just to give you an idea how abundant the lobsters are in the bays right now. Again, this area was picked totally clean during mini-season. Even though it's illegal to take lobster from these debris piles, there are idiots that still do. And yes, I don't mince words. Again, it's illegal to take lobsters from any man-made debris. This is probably put in here from Hurricane Irma a few years back. But again, please don't take lobsters from these man-made debris pile. You're not allowed to. And you can see on my paddleboard here in a second, you'll see this PVC pipe. Somebody dropped that in there to create a lobster habitat for them to get lobsters out of. I take that and throw that away. And here, good size nurse shark, which is a good sign because nurse shark, number one meal for nurse sharks. They love the lobsters. So when you start seeing nurse sharks around, got a pretty good idea that there are going to be lobsters in the area. So here I just jump in. I want to scout this little canal out. I use typically my weight belt and tickle stick and net on the paddleboard while I scout these areas. I found that if I start hunting right away, it seems like all the lobsters can sense that something's after them, and they just bury themselves deeper into these crevices. So I try and go up and down the canal, see if I can spot some nice lobsters that I want to take, or at least go for, and then I'll go back after I have an idea of where I want to go for the lobsters and start lobstering from there. Get my weight belt on, get the tickle stick out, and get the net out. I used to just come in down here and reach into these crevices and grab the lobsters because they back in, their tail gets against them. But a few times I've reached in, actually twice in the last year, I've reached in, ended up getting nailed by a crab on the fingers. No serious damage, but it is not fun, and the stone crabs get really painful with a good crunch. Typically, they release you once you shake them once or twice, but I still avoid that. Learned my lesson the hard way, and always use a tickle stick now to get the lobsters out of these crevices. So made this pass, saw maybe 15, 20 lobsters. A couple of them were keeper size at here, a lot of small ones, but definitely saw some keeper ones on this pass. I run the wall again on this direction, and it's a big area, so just getting an idea is if it's going to be a productive place to go or if I should move on to another spot. But after seeing what I saw here, decided to go ahead and grab the gear off the paddleboard and start hunting lobsters. Fortunately, my camera battery died. I thought I had fully charged it when I came out, so I didn't get any footage of the lobstering. But at the start of the video, I showed the clip. Those were the lobsters on the counter before I cooked them. So did manage to get 6 good-sized keeper lobsters out of this wall right here. And again, great time of year. So if you don't like the massive crowds of mini-season and that first week of opening season and the craziness fighting for space on boat ramps, I would always look at coming down anytime from October through the end of March. Especially October, November, December, January, the rental home prices are probably half of what they are during mini-season, that first week of opening season. and just a much more laid back vibe down here. Favorite time of year down here. Crowds are gone, lobster are in, lots of fish running. So vacation time, great option to come down to the Lower Keys this time of year. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be on the water next week going for tuna and wahoo, get some good fishing action going for you. Looks like we got a couple of good wind days in the forecast. So again, hopefully next week we're out on the water, but thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for another episode of Lower Keys Living. Thanks for watching.